Mother's Day, a celebration that allows many daughters to join their moms for a mani-pedi. But since I'd unfortunately just chipped my nails in the shop, I figured I could swap our rotors and brakes instead. Now we can see our rotors and brakes here that we'll be installing. I got them off Rock Auto because where else do you go when you're cheap and broke? Sorry Mom, I promise they're fine. We'll have to clean the rotors first, and I only had this, which is something that creates so many questions in my head for me, but moving on. The brake cleaner should do just fine around the sides of the rotors. If you have some that are painted in the middle, be very careful not to apply it in those areas. Yes, I know I should be letting this sit, but I'm just demonstrating you need to clean them. Make sure you get both sides of each rotor and you'll be good to go. Go ahead and loosen the lug nuts while the car is down. You can clearly get a little more leverage here. Really put all 125 pounds of you into it. Honestly, I just really like doing this, so I'm gonna make you watch. Don't skip it, I'll be mad. Do not skip it. I will know. Safety first. Now lift the wheel that feels like it weighs more than your Miata off and out of the way. While you have the wheels off, go ahead and check for any problems, punctures, or cooties of any sort. We'll start by loosening the top and bottom outer bolts, along with the larger interior bolts as well. Hey, there's that manicure I was talking about. The two smaller exterior bolts should be pretty easy to loosen as they don't have a high torque spec. Now, the larger interior bolts will be a touch more difficult. And remember, we're only loosening them for now. Before removing the two larger internal bolts, you'll need to fasten the caliper to the control arm to support its weight. In this case, I use zip ties, but bungees should work as well. I recommend staying away from the rubber that is close to where I hooked mine up, but there is a bit of metal you can loop in that area like I did. Once you're certain the caliper is secure, you can now remove the two larger inner bolts. You can also screw the lug nuts back on if you want a bit more stability when dealing with the rotor. Now scoop up that new rotor. Now plop that sucker on and admire my cat-like reflexes that I'm not going to be cool about. I'm also realizing what a frumpy angle this is. It's the angle, not me. It's actually pretty terrifying seeing the flimsy components that hold your brakes together, but I'm going to show them off for a while so you know their orientation. Just tell Vanna White to pause if you need more time. Now, pop each brake pad out of its respective depth bracket and admire what little is left. Just a slight difference between the new and old pad. Yikes. So this part's going to seem odd, but we're actually going to reinstall the caliper now without the pads. Be careful not to scratch that new rotor as well. Full disclosure, for some reason this bolt took me forever to line up, so long story short, don't do arm day before this. So I should know the torque value, but just get it really, really tight. My mom's been driving after this for a while and she's been fine. Love you! Please, nobody look at the vein in my neck. Oh, come on, what did I just say? Anyway, now we can remove that bottom bolt we just loosened. Now you'll need your handy dandy bungee to hold your caliper in place. Next, compress the pistons with a C-clamp, or whatever vise you have that'll do the job. You can compress both at once by placing the old pad between, but I kept dropping it and got pissed, so I did one at a time. It's a bit of an arduous process, but you'll get there. Yes, it's painstaking, but by comparison, you can see that it does work. Once you have them both compressed, remove your death clips, and I'll go ahead and start the orientation once more. Next, take some brake grease and rub it on the smooth side in a fashion that just isn't comfortable for anyone. Really moving past that notion, make sure you don't get any of this on the actual pad of the brake, or you'll have a bad time. Yeah, get it in there. No squeaks here. Once you've reinserted your death clips, you're ready to pop in your brake pad. Smooth and uncomfortably greasy side out, of course. I've heard stories. Make sure the tab on the top locks into the death clip pin, and note this may take several tries on either side as it naturally tries to force it out. Repeat on the other side. Now you can release the top and carefully line it back into position. Double check all your clips as well. Place the bottom outer bolt and apply light pressure when tightening this and the upper bolt. You should check the torque on this, but again, my mom is fine. These bolts are connected to delicate components, so be sure not to over-tighten. Finally, triple check your work, remove the lug nuts, and ensure there are no zip ties or bungees left floating around. You gonna make me say it again? This just felt cool. Now sumo wrestle the wheel back on before you drop the car, wrench it all back together, and you just changed your brakes and rotors. Well, I did. You didn't do anything. You just watched me struggle. At least for now.